Page 24, Sherlock Holmes. 4/4 time. One flat in the key signatures, so we're in F major or D minor. Well, if you look at the end, we're ending here. I tend to think this is in D minor. Right hand first. Let's make sure we have the notes and the rhythms. And I'm going to play it all legato to start. So here at the beginning, right hand, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. You see the 2/8 notes are tied? Now if that throws you, and it does some people, I don't know, take out the tie and play all the 8th notes for a bit, just temporarily. 1 and 2 and 3. So you get the basic rhythm, that's the feeling of it. The idea is once you have that, then on these A's, you simply hold the first one down, you don't play it again. You think, but you're just holding it down. So it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. That. Now on these X's, you can't rely on this, but different people will do this differently and different publishers do this differently. So there's no standard rule on this. Something weird's going on, that's all we know for sure. A lot of times they will put in an X when it's like a clap or a finger snap or some percussive thing. Well, if you look at the bottom of the page, there's a note where they want that note played really super duper soft so you can hardly hear it. Well, can you do that? How soft can you play a note? Just so you can hardly hear it at all. You have to make sure you get the key all the way down to the bottom or it won't play. If you don't push it all the way down on a piano, it doesn't play. So you go all the way down, but really soft. That's what they want here. But for right now, we're just trying to get the notes and the rhythms. Just play it as a normal D. See, the X is where the note D would be. Play it as a normal D. So it's just like that. Just pretend it's a note. And then second line, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So we kind of changed positions because of the accidental. Changed it. Third line, you go through, I mean these are the notes basically you're getting. You get the rhythm and just work it out really slowly and carefully. The last line, again, don't let these X's throw you, just play them as D's. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. Now that's second measure there at the last line, this measure 14. See the numbers in the little boxes at the beginning of the lines, those are measure numbers. Okay, so we're on measure 14. 1 and 2 and then it's tied for the rest of it. Otherwise it's 1 and 2. But with the tie, then you hang on to it. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1, 2, 3 and 4 and off. Because that last note's an 8th note, so don't hang on to it. Get off of it. Left hand, where you have notes. Don't forget the B flat. Not a lot going on in the left hand. That's fine because you got plenty to think about in the right hand. Go down to the last line. B natural. So the 4th finger is going to play the B flat. Now you're in E. So that is measure 15. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and off. So it's real quick. Put the hands together. Again, we're still playing this legato. 1, 2. 1 and 2 and 3. Let's go down to the last line here. 1 and 2. That right there. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Let's do that. The last 2 measures there. Well, the last measure is all rest. It's the measure before that. So it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and off. And you're saying, why is the last measure a rest? Well, I'm guessing here. Either there's an ensemble and somebody else, another instrument has something in that rest, or music pieces have form to them. They have certain rules they go by. And that usually means there's a set number of measures involved. And in order to have the number of measures work out, they needed another measure. So they stuck in an empty measure at the end. That happens sometimes. You see, if we look at the first line, it's like we're in 4 measure groups here. So here, that's one group. Then the next line is, and then the left hand finishes it off. But it's 4 measures total. And then the third line is 4 measures. It just works out as a group. So the last line needs to be 4 measures too. It's got to be the same as the others. You wouldn't cheat it. So you add 1 measure of rest. The song is not over until that rest, the last measure, the rest, until that's over. So you just got to wait for a measure, I guess. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the song is over. Because the feeling is going on, sort of. It really helps to have an imagination when you're working with music. Now once you've got the fingering and the rhythm working for you, you put in these staccatos and the legatos, the articulation. The left hand, it says LH sempre legato. Sempre simply means always. Keep doing it. Legato is connected. So all they're telling you is make the left hand connected throughout the whole piece. So it's just connect. I'd connect it anyway, because if they don't give me anything, I tend to connect them unless I feel a separation, and I don't feel a separation anywhere here. So I'd connect it anyway. But the right hand has staccatos and slurs, so we got to get those in. These staccatos, you can use a wrist staccato if you want. You can stay there and use finger staccato, because this is soft. You can do that. Play around with it. What do you feel like? Have fun with it. But when you get to measure 4, where the X is, you're barely touching that. So, and the slur, you lift up here. So that first line again. Third line. Now here, on measure 11, they don't give any staccatos here. I don't know if that's an error in the music or if they intended that. Because a lot of times in music, when you get toward the end, they change things up a bit, intentionally. So you're coming off the slur. But here, my tendency here is to connect them because there's no staccatos given. The third line is that. Now watch these slurs. Let's measure 12. Let's lift. And then the last line again, slurs. And then staccato, and it's an accent on the last note. It's not staccato, you don't necessarily play it short, it's just an accent. And when you can get all that okay, then let's put in the dynamics. Soft at the beginning, that's the right hand, keep the left hand very soft. Now you come up to moderately loud. That's the right hand. Keep the left hand out of the way. Now here, this is the last 2 measures, second line. You can bring the left hand up to moderately loud too, since it's playing by itself. Or you can leave it down. Which do you think? It's up to you. Maybe you put a little crescendo as you go down, because in the next line, it's the right hand now again that's moderately loud, and the left hand has to be soft. Then the last line, you're starting out moderately loud with a crescendo, and you got 2 measures to go to loud. So be careful. Don't get loud till that third measure. So pace this out. Here I tend to not change much at all in this measure. Now, loud. The last note will be very loud because it's accented. Sort of. Speed-wise, well, it's 120 is about twice as fast as we do the play with me's, more or less. But what they want you to do here is swing the eighth notes. So rather than playing 1 and 2 and 3 and so forth, we're going to swing you swing the counting. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and they want this going through. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. Well, you have to be careful when you speed things up and you're swinging the eighth notes, because you can get to the point where the short part of the swinging is too short. So that'll slow you down a little bit. So keep this in mind. How fast? Go down on measure 10 with this. How fast do you want that to go? And that's how fast you take it at the beginning. Now, I'd like to play this with you very, very slowly to double check the notes and the rhythms. I'm not going to do the dynamics, but I will swing the eighth notes and do the articulation. So I'll give us 4 counts. So let's just go over it really super slow. 1, 2, ready and go, and 1 and 2 and 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Two, 3, 4.